Guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Basketball Hut. So last night we had our first taste of playoff action and it did not disappoint at all. Four games last night that were all really close, really competitive, and really set the stage for what we're going to see in this year's playoffs. So I'm just going to go over those four games to give like a detailed summary of what happened and what my predictions were for those games. So without further ado, let's get started. First game on our list, we had the Miami Heat versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, I had the Heat winning game one, even though I had the Bucks winning the series 4-2. I still thought the Heat were gonna take game one, and that's not what happened at all. I mean, both teams played pretty awful, but Milwaukee did pull away in overtime thanks to a Chris Middleton bucket. And Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, those were the two saviors of the Bucks. They played really good. Giannis played okay. He didn't shoot the ball really well, but thankfully the heroics of Middleton and Holiday helped the Bucks take game one. And as for the Heat, I mean, Jimmy and Bam, their two star players, were just not that good on offense. I mean, they were complete liabilities on that end. I think Jimmy shot like 4 of 20 or something, and he had like 18 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, something like that. And Bam, I think he had 9 points or something. He was good defensively, but just non-existent on the offensive end. So if the Heat are going to make this series close, they got to have Jimmy and Bam be more involved in the offense. They got to have those guys shine, because otherwise, if this series is going to be anything like game one, then the Bucks may as well just sweep the Miami Heat. And, shout out to Duncan Robinson and Goran Dragic. Those two guys really kept Miami in it. And if it wasn't for them, I think it would have been a blowout game one. So anyway, I was wrong on my prediction for game one. Bucks take it. I still think the Heat can win 2 more games. I still think they can make it a bit more competitive. So we'll just wait and see what happens. The second game of yesterday, we had the Dallas Mavericks going up against the Los Angeles Clippers. And I had the Clippers winning game one. I thought that they were going to set the stage for what's to come. They were going to just showcase how good of a team they are, how improved they were as a team. But that's not what happened, as Luka and the Mavs torched that Clippers defense. Luka finished with a 30-point triple-double, playing excellent. He did cool down in the fourth quarter, but I mean, a win's a win, and plus the other guys in the Mavericks really stepped up. I think Tim Hardaway Jr. had 21 and Dorian Finney-Smith had like 18. So, I mean, Mavericks are going to need those guys to step up if they're going to want to make this series competitive. Because right now Luka is the only player that can, put up buckets and create his own shot. So the other guys are going to have to step up if they're going to have any shot at winning this. Again, I think the Clippers are going to win this series 4-2. The Mavericks are going to make it really competitive, and if they are, they're just going to need to play like how they played in game one. But anyway, the Clippers just look pretty bad. Kawhi had a really inefficient game, in my opinion. Same thing with Paul George. Rajon Rondo, he played really good. I think he finished with 11 points. But, I mean, they're just going to have to fix whatever's wrong with their defense, man. They gotta somehow cool down Luka Magic, because otherwise it could be scary hours for the Clippers, man. I mean, you don't want to be upsetted in the first round when you're expected to make like the conference finals at least. So Clippers, I still got them winning in 6 games, but you never know. It might go to 7, and maybe the Clippers could get upset if anything like game one happens. Our third game of yesterday, we had the Brooklyn Nets going up against the Boston Celtics, and I had the Nets just taking game one. Again, I said that the Nets were going to sweep the Celtics, and that's exactly what happened in this game. Well, they didn't sweep them, but I mean, game one of this series is exactly how I imagine Brooklyn versus Boston is going to be like, where, it's just a really close game. Both teams are scoring back and forth, but Brooklyn just pulls away in the fourth quarter and wins the game. That's pretty much what I expect to happen in this series. I mean, I don't expect Boston to take a game. In fact, if there was a game that they could win for sure, it was game one, but they didn't, and I think Brooklyn's just going to take control of this series and just, finish the sweep. That's what I expect from them. Shout out to Robert Williams, though. He had a really good game, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 9 blocks as well. As I said before, Boston needs that big man who can protect the rim, and it seems like Robert Williams is that guy. So I would just bench Tristan Thompson and just start Robert Williams. I mean, I don't know why they're not starting him. He played really good, and I just think Boston should keep him as their starting center moving forward. But anyway, I don't think it'll matter all that much because Brooklyn will sweep them. But, it still will be a competitive series. I mean, as I said, every game's going to be close, but Brooklyn is just going to pull away in that second half, fourth quarter. So definitely excited to see what happens in the next 3 games in the series for sure. All right, moving on to our next game, our final game actually. We had the Portland Trailblazers facing off against the Denver Nuggets. And first off, I have Denver winning this series in 7 games. But I thought Portland was going to take game 1. I thought Damian Lillard was just going to have one of those games where he was just cooking up, and that's exactly what happened. He took over in the third quarter. Carmelo Anthony was really good. I think he had like 18 off the bench, which was insane. CJ McCollum was solid. Nurkic was pretty good. And, I mean, I expect Portland to win 3 games. All right, I do expect them to make this series competitive. But at the end of the day, I do think the Nuggets will win. And speaking of them, they played solid, I guess. I mean, Jokic had a really good game. And then not to mention Michael Porter Jr., he had like 25, which was really good. I said that he was going to take over like Jamal Murray's role kind of as that second option. And hopefully he'll do exactly that, even though he kind of took a bad shot in the fourth quarter. Like, I don't know what was he thinking, but regardless, he still had a really good game, and I do expect him to continue this level of play throughout the playoffs and help Denver win this series. So I love what I see from the Nuggets, love what I saw from the Trailblazers, and I love what I saw. If this series is anything like game 1, this is going to be a very interesting, very competitive playoff series in round 1. So can't wait to see what happens in these next 7 games for Portland versus Denver. And that's going to do it. That is going to be my summaries of the games last night. I'm going to try to make this into a series. I'm going to try to watch all the playoff games I can for one night, and then the next day I'll make a video detailing what happened, giving a brief summary, what happened, what players stepped up, what players choked, that kind of thing. I'm not going to promise it for every day. I mean, there's going to be some instances where I'm just not able to do it, but I will definitely try my best to make it for every single day because I definitely want to do this for sure. Just detailing all those playoff games. I think it's really fun to see, what happens, which players stepped up, which players choked, what happened in those games. I just want to do that. We'll see how that goes, but thank you all so much for watching, guys. If you really enjoyed it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're trying to grow the channel by the minute. And, just get ready for playoff season. It is playoffs in the basketball hut. So, just make sure you're on for the ride. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.